Hey gang, this is Andy over at Falco K9 Academy, Falco K9's Dog Live News, and I have a co-host today. Her name is Gina.
Hello.
She is the manager, the owner of Falco Dog Training Orange County. So happy that you're here today.
Me too.
We planned on this all week long.
I know.
We worked on it, practiced.
I'm ready.
Now, 10 seconds ago, I got here and said, Gina, you're on live with me and just on our show. But we have a lot to talk about today. I'll tell you a little bit more about the Kuwaiti dogs, what's going on with them, if you didn't catch the live show that I did yesterday. And then we are going to talk about Falco Fitness, which I'm working on currently. And we are going to talk about some dogs that are in the news, some dogs that saved some people's lives.
Yes.
And a very serious crime in England, apparently, with a dog and a human being that
Really awful.
they want this person arrested and in prison. It's a horrible story.
Very.
That'll be the last one, so you're going to want to stick around for the whole show.
Controversial.
And because we're going to need your help in solving this crime of just horrendous.
And the good thing is you're a former police officer, so
Yep.
you can analyze the story.
Yeah,
really
yeah.
well.
Yeah, there's a lot of evidence. We have photographic evidence of this crime.
Right,
yes.
yes.
And so, so that's what's going to happen today. Why'd you laugh? It's not funny.
No, it's not.
All right, so instead of sticking with all the bad news that's going on, I've decided that all my stories today are going to be good stories, other than the criminal in England. All right, and so let's talk about the Kuwaiti dogs. And I'm not sure, did you see my live show yesterday?
No, not yesterday.
You've been following?
Yes.
Well, we have good news. The dogs have actually been seen by somebody, and the dogs apparently are being well kept for. Is that right? Is that a good sentence?
Yeah.
Cared for. Cared for. That was the word I was looking for.
Yes.
They have water. They have air conditioning, which is probably fairly important there in Saudi Arabia, not Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait. And they look healthy. The kennels are clean, and they're in all very large kennels, and so they're healthy.
Good.
Turns out, instead of the 40 dogs that was originally reported that was euthanized, and I say this not because it makes things any better, but it's only 24. Now that sounds like I'm minimizing that they only killed 24, but at least it's not 40. It's still horrific that they euthanized 24 dogs for no reason whatsoever, other than they didn't have the contract any longer. But at least there is somebody inside now. There's nobody from at least the contacts I have from the U.S. State Department or the USPCA or anything like that have been inside yet. So we're working on that.
Good.
But that's the good news. 4 dogs have been rescued. I'm going to post a video. I promised to do it yesterday, but I lost it. But somebody resent it to me today. I'll post a video of 4 of the dogs after the show, so you can see those 4 dogs, and more dogs are going to be coming out. Apparently there's probably in the 50s to 75 dogs that are going to need homes, and some of them I think can still be working dogs, and some of them probably were not the best dogs. These 4 dogs that are out now aren't really police dogs or detection dogs. So that's the news coming out of Kuwait. And so as I get more, and I do have more, but they just asked me not to share it yet, but just know that it's good news. All right, so that's all good stuff. It's just, the one thing that's crazy about that story that I often think about but don't often remember to talk about is that there's also human trafficking involved in that story.
Okay.
Right? But the thing that gets the most press is the dogs. It's the craziest thing. That's been my entire history with the dog world, is that if it's dogs, people go crazy.
Yes.
And they're nuts about it. I mentioned yesterday I was training Morty, the mortuary dog.
Yes.
And somebody wrote on there, there's other ways to train dogs than click and treat on my thing.
Yes. I love that. I was laughing.
And I go,
that was good.
Yeah, I know. As a matter of fact, if you would watch the first video, I talk about that aspect of our training. But I didn't know in the 30 years that there was more.
I was going to call you out on that.
And then somebody else saw the dog panting, like that. But it's been 100 degrees, right? And I'm doing a 2-minute video on dog training, and they were mad because the dog needed water.
People are very, opinionated about how you treat dogs.
But
or not you in particular, but how people are, and they think that they shouldn't be outside and this and that. If they're panting, they're very emotional over it, and that's not the case.
Yeah, I know.
So.
They're very, very passionate. But that is the thing with the story, is that there's human trafficking that's involved, but we don't hear that much about that aspect of it. So I want to make sure to bring that out to the front. I'll bring the mic. The mic sounds like a helicopter is about to land on your head. Really? Does it still sound that way? Kim, let me know if it sounds better. Sorry about that. We are trying to share a mic. I don't want anybody to get jealous that Gina and I are so close. Tell me if that sounds a little bit better, Kim, when you get a chance. boy, do you type slow. As a matter of fact, I'm going to talk about Kim and Lola and Kendall in just a few minutes based on one of the stories that I have here. It actually goes hand in hand with what's happening with them and their dog. All right, so just when you get a chance, Mark or Kim, better closer. All right, sorry about that. I was trying to be polite to Gina. All right. All right. All right, here's a really fun story. So like I promised, these are all good stories. So in Mexico, a sweet dog by the name of Max is being credited with helping save the life of a child who was lost for nearly 2 days in the harsh wilderness by refusing to leave his side until rescuers arrived. Juan Trevino, 14, was attending a summer camp in Mexico's Sierra Madre Oriental mountain range. You ever been there?
No.
Me either. I never even heard of it. This week, I've heard of Sierra Madre, but not Oriental mountain range. This week, when he became separated from his group, after wandering off in the search of firewood, Trevino slipped and fell down a ravine. Though injured and disoriented, he soon realized he was not alone. Max, whom Trevino met only a short time earlier at camp, had been accompanying the boy on his ill-fated trek. When he fell, the loyal Labrador Retriever followed him down. Unable to find his way back to camp, Trevino took shelter under a tree. Rather than leave the boy to fend for himself, Max remained. In the frigid mountain air during the night, it was the dog's company that made all the difference. This is the boy talking. I grabbed Max and put him on my legs to not be so cold and hugged the dog, Trevino told the newspaper. The next day, as Trevino continued to try and find his way back through the rugged terrain, Max saved him again by finding a puddle from which they both were able to quench their thirst. And subsequently, they were eventually found, airlifted to safety, and it was a 44-hour ordeal. But it's just a really cool story, and we hear stories a lot about dogs that may not have been trained to be therapy dogs or service dogs that, for whatever reason, jump into action. And again, I'm going to share a story here that Kim Hollinger shared with me the other day about Lola, the peanut detection dog, and what that dog's done for her and Kendall. But this is just another example of Lola's a trained dog, but she still does some things that are pretty amazing. But this is a dog that just met this boy and stayed with him. And do you think, and this is going to be the question, do you think the dog just was happy to have somebody around and just was hanging out with him no matter what? Or do you think, based on the way that the story's written, that the dog really knew the child was in trouble and stayed with him to provide some help? What are your thoughts?
Well, it's a retriever. Yeah. So retrievers love people, and they love being around people. So makes sense why the dog would be in the general vicinity of where the kid was going and to stay by him during that time, because they, as we talk about, dogs feel our emotions. They know what's going on. The kid fell. He knew it was an issue, and so he went to be by typical retriever traits. Yep. I think. I'm thinking, boy, this would have been a really, can I say crappy? Yeah. Crappy story if it was like totally opposite, like the dog left the kid. I mean, it would have blown the retriever, reputation out of the water. But that's not the case, and I'm sorry I went there. But I was thinking this.
Wow.
You bring out like the best in me. I'm sorry, but yeah, no. And this is a typical retriever story. They want to be by people. They'll help save, and we've done lots of retrievers for detection, and this is just a great story to know that retrievers will be there by you.
Now, you've been around a lot of dogs over the years, pit bulls and other dogs and mixed dogs and things like that. Have you ever had anything that a dog does something and you look and you go, how did he know, or how did she know, or why did they do that? Because I really needed that at that moment, like come and lay their head on your lap when they know that you needed a hug or something like that. Have you ever had anything like that happen with your dogs?
I'm just trying to think. Maybe when I'm sick, like my one dog, Kona, she's my baby. She'll come and just lay right next to me and just sit there, won't lick me or anything, just be right there and just by my side.
Yeah, I think in working in law enforcement with the police K9 and stuff like that, there's a couple times where I looked at my dog after he did something and go, how the hell did he know? Because I could think, as I'm searching a building, I got my gun out, I'm in mostly darkness, because in the training we want to actually be in the darkness. The fallacy is that we want to use our flashlights, and then the bad guy sees us, right, and we can't see the bad guy. And so we tend to do things in low lighting, and then when necessary, turn on lights and that kind of stuff. So, but as my dog's searching, because I'm trying to stay quiet, I in my head I'm thinking, God, I wish he would go into that building or that room to the right. And then at that moment, he appears to stop, turn around, and go into those rooms. They were like, I can consciously think about 3 or 4 times, like, did that just happen by accident, or why? Because he was going in a completely different direction. Then he just stopped and turned. But this often comes up in my mind. Like, is it a dog? Because we want to give dogs a lot of credit, and I don't mind that at all, right? You got the story about Max, the military dog that came back to the United States and took care of the kid when he was in trouble, that kind of stuff. And those are all great stories. So I don't want to discredit those stories, but I want to know how much of it is just the dog just being a social dog, because dogs have been raised throughout the years since caveman to be a pack animal with human beings and to be domesticated. Is that just something that's happened over time, or does the dog truly have this thought like, oh no, Jimmy's in trouble, I must go call for help, and then run from the well that Jimmy fell into and go call for help?
It's just like people have premonitions of stuff. There's just like that weird feeling we have that we don't, it's an untold feeling, but people get it. Like dogs, I think they pick up the same thing. Yeah.
The energy.
Yes.
All right, let's see what we got. You're on my bike. Dogs are great at reading body language. Hi, Sally. Yeah, they are great at reading. So that's a great story. Let me go to another one before I talk about Kim. And this is not the one. Hold on. Where is it? Here we go. So in Sacramento, a local dog is providing his bark is proving. Sorry, providing. I went to a public school in La Mirada, California. Not the greatest. L.A. County. Okay, so it was part of whatever. So much stronger, proving his bark is much stronger than his bite. 12-pound Hook is a Chihuahua and Jack Russell mix. Wow, usually those two breeds. Sorry, Chihuahua and Jack Russell Terrier mixes, but now you're putting two breeds together that, wow. Although we have a Chihuahua in class who's fantastic.
Awesome. He's in our advanced class
Yeah,
and
he's
he left, but he's the most obedient Chihuahua I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's a great dog.
Yes.
I love watching him work that dog. He recalls the dog, stops the dog, and the dog sits and calls. It's just But Chihuahuas normally aren't that kind of dog. So anyway. Wow, we went off on a little thing there. Coincidentally, now Hook is a finalist for this year's Hero Dog Awards presented nationally by the American Humane Association. Oh, you know what? And Lola, the dog we're talking about, actually was one of the finalists too. And so the dog was. I want to skip ahead because I don't want to completely read this whole thing. But the dog is a licensed service dog. I don't know what licensed service dog means, but okay, that's a whole other story. That was exactly the scenario. All right, so the lady that this dog works for, she has 50-50 hearing loss, and so the dog is there to help her with things that she needs to be aware of when her hearing fails her and misses certain things. And it just so happens that this lady was walking along the street and was coming up on some railroad tracks, and I was probably in the middle of the street, and then Hook started jumping on me, recalled Joyce. When I got to the track, Hook just pulled me off the track. It doesn't say how the dog did that, if it grabbed her by the pants or... Yeah, I'm not sure, but the dog apparently did this. Joyce said the train missed her only by inches that day. Her husband is still in shock over the close call. I mean, here's a dog who's never been trained to take someone off the railroad tracks, to pull them away or warn them. So I think he's got intuitive nature, said Dan. For his efforts, Hook has earned himself a spot as one of the 8 finalists of the upcoming Hero Dog Award. So there had to have been witnesses, you would think. And I'm not saying I doubt the story. I'm just saying I wonder.
I was going there with you. Yeah. Like, where's the video? Yeah. Where's the iPhone video of this amazing event that happened? I mean, all these people everywhere, and this wasn't caught, especially Chihuahua.
It's in the same file as the Chupacabra video. No, I'm sorry. You watch this because you want the true. I just have these thoughts, right? And it's not. I'm hoping this dog really did that, and I. Okay. And I have seen things like this happen. I've seen a police dog in Palm Springs actually literally save the life of the handler by jumping in front of the gun, taking the bullet for the handler, and the dog unfortunately died. So I have seen things like this. It's just that I don't know how that happened, but I'm glad that it did. I'm glad the lady is safe and alive, and the dog is going to be presented hopefully with the Hero Dog Award. But again, it's just one of those things, I know that dogs sense danger based on what it is we're doing. Now, in this case, it was more that the dog sensed danger of something approaching. Yeah. So that's just
the vibration of the ground. I mean, they're closer. They have 4 paws. We only have 2 feet with the shoes on. So they felt that, and maybe they were a little. The dog was a little fearful itself too, and it kind of caused that whole thing to, alert the handler, and it just kind of worked out.
What I'm thinking is the dog was on leash, and the dog was running away and pulled her off the tracks, which is fine. which is fine. So
I was really trying to be serious about this, and you went a whole different way.
I really was trying to hold back from saying that, but I am so happy. So now let's get to a real story. Let's get to a real story. So Kim Hollinger texted me the other day, and I don't know if I have the entire story correct based on what I read. So what else is new? I make stuff up all the time. But let's get to the message here. So it's a long text. Kim is really good at writing long text. But apparently, this dog Lola has been trained to detect the presence of peanut odor, residue, and not just a peanut that exists. And so Kendall, who is a 17 now or 18? I can't remember. I know that she's unfortunately driving. You should see her drive. It is horrific. Hopefully, the dog may need to help her. But they were out somewhere, and I'm just going to shorten up the story here. But where she went, she happened to put her bag down on the ground. It just so happens that on the ground was a peanut cluster type of thing. And when she was in that area, she noticed that Lola was a little uneasy and that kind of stuff. And kept interrupting, popped up the heat. I didn't think, Kendall started to put cortisone cream on her arm for hives because she was beginning to get hives because she was in the presence of the peanut odor. With the heat, I didn't think much about it. When she got home, so the dog started kind of acting uneasy around the bag. So then she gets home, and now Kendall's getting a little bit more kind of uncomfortable because that's kind of the reaction she has. And Lola keeps going back to the bag and growling at the bag, and then coming and barking at the bag. And then when she goes on the couch, Kendall was trying to have an excited conversation with her dad because she has a new album coming out. And Lola kept interrupting and finally got up and laid completely across Kendall's lap, placing her face in her face, whining and growling. And this is just unusual behavior for Lola. And then it was like going from the bag to Kendall. And then what they discovered is there is peanut residue.
Hello, I'm trying to tell you.
So Kim calls back to the place where they were and says, hey, can you look next to that chair or couch where we were sitting and see if you see anything? And that's where they find the peanut on the ground right where Kendall had placed her bag.
That's amazing. I love that. That's a great story. That is a great story.
And then she sent me a picture of the lady sent her a picture of the little peanut cluster thing to show that is, and that's what I like. I like proof, right? I like that there's a witness. You call somebody, hey, can you check on something? Because this is where we're sitting. What do you find when you're over there? And there's the thing, the very thing. If you go back in some of our YouTube videos on our YouTube channel, I actually talk about Lola's training where I was eating peanuts inside of a hotel, and then I kind of wiped my hands off and then picked up the remote control and put it back down. Then I brought Lola in and did a search, and Lola went to the remote control and sat, which is telling me that she detected the odor of peanuts on the remote control. Yeah. Pretty cool.
That's amazing. You're amazing. I mean, did you go like this with the peanuts too, and did it search you?
No, that was really gross.
All over the bed.
On my butt. The dog alerted on my
butt.
Oh,
no, you'd have to go there.
Oh, sorry. That's a good thing I didn't have the mic on at that time. So, oh, she's 19. So thank you, Kim. Yeah, she's 19. Still keeps the dog around. The dog does some amazing things. Lola is the craziest dog. I love that dog, but moments I want to. She is just. She's incredible.
Well, and I love that. Thank you for the proof, because like we like to see if there's no picture, then it really didn't happen. But it happened, and we got the proof. So, good job.
Yeah, it was awesome. So here's another fun story. And so we're going to go back to, just for a second, we're going to talk about Michael Vick. If you don't know who Michael Vick is, he's a professional football player, a quarterback. He got into the dog fighting business. And had a bunch of dogs. He eventually got caught, and he had 100. No, he had 53. Talk about a complete 180. I almost read the story wrong. Yeah. He had 53 pit bulls that were rescued from Michael Vick's dog fighting ring. 53 pit bulls that he had. I ran into a couple of these dogs on a pit bull case that I was asked to investigate in Pahrump, Nevada, and ran into a couple of these dogs, and they were just, their ears were all bitten off. Just, they had all the gray spots from the bite marks that had healed with gray hair. I mean, it's just a mess. Those dogs were a mess. But here's the good story. 9 years after the pooch, this pooch named Cherry. Cherry, 9 years after Pooch was taken from the horrific conditions of the NFL players' Bad News Kennels in Virginia, Cherry's life has not only improved dramatically, he's also helping bring smiles and love to everyone he meets. When I saw Cherry for the first time, he looked so alone. He just needed somebody there to give him the time that he needed to recover. Owner Paul Fiaccioni says in a video Bark Post made as part of its Dog's Best Day series. He's overcome so much. He wants to be happy. He wants to give back. What he wants to do is love, and that is a great story with a pit bull that's had the history of this particular dog. But here's the fun part of the story. So I guess it was this dog's birthday, and so outreach. So in addition to being a loving family pet, Cherry does community outreach with children to teach them about animal rescue and compassion. So to thank the 11-year-old dog in his miraculous recovery, Bark Post gave him a day full of his favorite things, and that include adorable little fur balls. As part of his dog's best day celebration, Friends of Berlin Animal Control brought several kittens to the Fiaccioni's home so that the pit bull could cuddle with them in his kitten cuddle fort. He has a kitten cuddle fort.
There's no picture of the kitten cuddle fort. I want to see a picture of the kitten because there's no picture. So
right.
What is that?
I don't know.
I want to see that.
Cherry loves kittens, Paul tells the camera. He has 2 cats now. He loves to play with them. Every time he's around kittens, it just seems like all his stress goes away. He would definitely love to be a kitten nanny for a day. I just got a cavity.
I think they should hire him at the animal shelters with the cats.
Yeah, sure.
Calm the cats, right?
Yeah, and of course
we're selling point for pit bulls. I mean, geez,
right.
A pit bull with a bunch of cats. Hello.
Well, of course, my cynical self, which you probably don't think I'm very cynical based on what I've already said there. But as I read the story, it says they gave him a bunch of furry kittens. I go, oh no,
this is not a good story.
This is not going to make it on this particular thing. But they gave the pit bull a bunch of kittens to play with. It is the craziest thing. I love it. And there's no picture.
And there's no video.
I know. There's got to be something later on. Well, there is a video. I can't play it because we have no internet. That's why. So what we will do, oh man. So what I'm going to do, as I do always, and not usually right away, I put the links in the replay of this particular episode, and you'll be able to see the video that's on here that we said that we can't see, but is actually there. But that's because we're in a place where there is no internet. But I think that's a pretty cool story. Do your dogs like other animals, cats, and that kind of thing?
I have a cat, and they stay way far away from her. I have a 90-pound pit bull, and he wants nothing to do with Kitty. Kitty rules the house. That's it. I mean, I have to say there was a documentary on pit bulls about the victory dogs, and it was a very good documentary on Netflix. And I think this was one of the dogs that they had on there, and it's just amazing the turnaround. A lot of these dogs, they just want to be loved and in a home. And I also went to Best Friends Animal Society in Utah for vacation. Yeah. What do I go for a vacation? What does a dog trainer go on vacation? To a dog place. And I got to see some of these with the red tag ones at the top, and a really sad situation. And this was probably about 10 years ago I went, and they gave these dogs a safe place to be, even though they can never be adopted out. But at least they had a safe place and could live their life. So
I can't believe that was 11 years ago. That's because I remember posting a picture of Vic running down the football field in his uniform and a pit bull biting his butt. I wish I could find that video. I'm sorry. I wish I had better eyes. Lola is batshit crazy. Oops, sorry. Beep. She is. She's crazy. Our best analogy of Lola's ability. Kendall's anxiety goes up with peanut presence. Lola associates peanut presence as a danger because she's so connected to Kendall. Yep. Plus, Andy did a great job. Oh, sure. Okay. All right. So, whatever. You can see Kendall. I don't talk about this as much as I probably should, but you can see Kendall and Kim and I and Lola on Netflix on the Showdown of the Unbeatables. And so make sure and see that. Oh, I wanted to give an update, too, at the beginning. The TV show, the Soldier Dogs TV show, I talked about it yesterday in the live show, but I'm going to talk about it again. It's on. It's moving forward. I know a lot of people say, well, you haven't talked about that lately. Did it just drop? No, it's continuing. I've had 3 or 4 conference calls within the last week with the executive producers, and we're putting together how it is we're going to train all the handlers, what they're going to have to do to begin with. We're talking about doing Skype calls and interviews and that kind of stuff. So on our Facebook page, I'll try to repost it pretty soon, but if you look on the pictures on our Facebook page, just click on that and you'll see the flyer for the TV show that we're busy producing right now with a major network. Hope I didn't say the name. I'm not supposed to say the name. I've said it before and forget that I ever said it. But you're going to look for the email on there, the email address, and send them an email saying you want your dog to be, you and your dog, to be considered for the show, because it's a team thing. And the great thing is that the format has changed a little bit. Before it was going to be like 10 to 15 dogs at the beginning, and then each episode one would be kicked off. Yep, kicked off the island. Yeah. But instead, each episode is going to have about 4 to 6 dogs, something like that. And then at the end of the show, there's a winner. The next week, it's brand new dogs and handlers, and at the end of the show, there's a winner. So it just keep on going. And so I think it's going to be really good. I like that format.
I think I need to be a participant.
Yeah, well, I might need some trainers. I don't know if you could be a participant, but I think I might need some trainers, which may be better for you.
All right, that works.
I'm really working hard. Because I don't know if they've already found some. I'm very involved, but there's certain things that I feel like they kind of have an idea what it is they want to do, which you can't argue with them because they're a big, gigantic, huge company.
They're paying the bill.
Yeah, but they listen to me, which is really odd. Yeah. I should. I was going to say something very bad. Okay, so could Molly do it? I think Molly could. And I think, but I could use you as a trainer too, Sally. So just calm down there. All right. Let's get to a couple more things. We're not even as far as I thought. We're like over an hour. Oh. We've only been 26 minutes. All right. So what I want to tell you guys, like last week, I told you about a job opening for if you're interested in dogs, and if you're in the Sausalito area up near San Francisco, K9 Cove, exceptional canine care.
I like that. That's catchy.
Yes.
That's very catchy.
I think we need a Falco K9 Cove, exceptional.
We need a picture with it or a video, because with just the words, it doesn't mean anything.
So anyway, K9 Cove is currently seeking full-time dog handlers. They should say dog trainers.
We need a kitty cuddler. Sorry.
Dog handlers for its Sausalito location. We are. They put an "and." It's there. We are a 12-year-old. See, it's not me. It's written "and" there. We are a 12-year-old family-owned and operated business with a passion for caring for dogs in an environment most comfortable for them. We pride ourselves on the very excited return visitors. See, they went to public school apparently also.
This is where? Where the Central California? Nobody knows it. They're not even on the map.
Yeah. Well, it's a very nice area. I know that area. Yeah, it's very nice. And the peace of mind we offer to their parents. The shifts currently available include weekday mornings 7 to 1, weekday afternoons 1 to 7, weekend midday 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the responsibilities of the handlers are typically responsible for supervising daycare, boarding dogs, playing with, feeding, and bathing dogs. Indoor and outdoor cleaning and some maintenance chores are required. Some interaction with clients, answering phones, paperwork, blah, blah, blah. And so, but they're paying. Where did I find the pay? Where is it? $13 an hour, which I think is pretty good. But that area up there is pretty expensive. So maybe that's really not enough.
True. But what, in how many years it's going to go up to 15?
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. That's why you own Falco Dog Trading Orange County. All right. Yes. All right. So if you are there, this post again will be on there, but it just came up 23 hours ago. So it just got posted 23 hours ago. So if you live in that area and you want a part-time job or full-time job, I think it is, and you want to play with dogs, there you go. Just go and see.
That's the best job ever.
Yeah. All day long.
Right. All day long.
Yeah. Smelling dog poop all day long. You're welcome to my office. Hey. All right. Are you ready for this story? This horrendous crime in England?
Yeah, now we better
put our serious face on.
Wait, hold on, let me get off.
All right. If you've not heard yet, in England, it is bad. It's a bad story, and it's at the top. Comes from the top. You know, it's like the president's daughter, the first children.
I'm surprised it wasn't on the morning news.
I actually did hear it on the news this morning.
Darn it. Okay.
I read the story, and then as I was driving here, it came on the radio. Yeah, Prince George Prince George of England celebrated his 3rd birthday by trying to poison their dog. Right. The heir to the British throne turns 3 years old today, and so Kensington Palace celebrated by gifting the eyes of his loyal subjects with cute pictures they tweeted. But well behind one of those pictures is darkness and cruelty. Some look at the picture of Prince George in Lugo, Middleton, Mountbatten, Windsor.
Wow.
Try calling that dog. Lupo. What's a lupo? Isn't that a disease?
Lupus.
Oh, okay. Above and say to themselves, "Oh, look at that Whittle prince giving a Whittle ice cream to." It says this. I'm not the Whittle doggy, but others look at that picture and see attempted pooch murder. The Guardian says that a few messes. I don't know who wrote this either. On Twitter are jokingly, they hope, calling for Prince George to be imprisoned for animal cruelty. Prince George is supposedly offering the doggy in waiting a taste of white chocolate ice cream bar. Chocolate is to dogs what the Iggy Azalea song is to ears. I didn't read that before. It's painful poison. Some dogs are also hit with a case of diarrhea when they eat dairy. It says diarrhea. Oh, doggeria. When they eat diarrhea is what it says there. That picture is so serious that the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals released this statement. It is lovely that Prince George is trying to help keep his family dog Lupo cool in these high temperatures. We would advise people to be cautious when giving their dogs food meant for human consumption, as some items like chocolate can be highly toxic to dogs, and dairy items can be difficult for them to digest. Instead of ice cream, we would suggest making a nice lolly from pet-friendly ingredients. Making these can be really fun for the dog. Blah, 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 blah. So. I think we should start a campaign. I think everybody should watching. We should,
I have a really good idea.
What?
I think we need to contact the company that makes the Paws ice cream at this grocery store, and I think we need to have them ship it over to the UK. Yeah. Now, I think that'd be a great idea. Maybe they don't have it. And this was the only alternative, and they don't know any better. So I think if we ship them those little dog ice creams, it might be a good alternative for them to use.
Well, I really want to let you know that chocolate is it's not good for dogs, but it's not this horrendous poison. So I don't want anybody to panic that if you're eating a chocolate chip cookie and you drop it on the ground and your dog snatches it up and swallows it, I don't want you rushing to the veterinarian necessarily thinking that and breaking all the laws, saying, my dog's dying. He ate a chocolate chip cookie.
Correct.
That is not true. No. It really is. There's a couple things. It's based on the dog's weight and the amount of chocolate, and it has to be a lot, right? Even sometimes it has to be a lot to even just make the dog have diarrhea.
Correct. And isn't it a certain type of chocolate too?
Yes, that's the next thing.
Oh.
Dark chocolate.
Yes.
And cocoa. Yeah. Look at you.
Oh, cocoa.
Oh,
wow.
And cocoa.
So white chocolate's fine.
No, actually, that's one of the ones. So just so you don't think I'm talking out of my butt. Which Jim Carrey does a great job of that. And what movie is that he does that?
Animal Pet Detective.
Yeah. I love that. Thanks for the demonstration. Wow, this is the last time you're going to be on camera. Let me see. There is that thing that I had. I just want to pull it because it's just not me. That isn't the right one. Crud. Did I get rid of it? I might have gotten rid of it. But there was one that had, sorry guys, it had like a little chart and it had the amounts, and you can find it online, but it's not, I'm not telling you to feed your dogs chocolate, so get that out of your minds right now. I'm just telling you that it's not this horrendously dangerous, and I bet you that they think these people are joking, but there's some people that are serious.
Oh, no, people are serious about crimes with dogs. I mean, very passionate. Yeah. I mean, off with your head. Yeah. Queen bee, right? Yeah. I mean...
But when you see the picture, it actually is a really cute picture of this little boy, with the dog. It's the greatest thing.
I want to eat the kid. Yeah. I mean, he's so adorable.
And it looks like the dog may be, I don't know if he's pulling away, but he's not. Yeah, he's not actively eating it. Again, a lick of the ice cream, whether it's white chocolate, dark chocolate.
That could have been a staged picture too. Yeah, they could have, photoshopped it in there.
Yeah. They probably don't even let him around. They don't let him around, even dogs.
True.
They're dirty. I don't know why I did that.
Question. Yeah. Is your dog Hazel, Falco, Jimenez,
Farfignugan.
Farfignugan? Okay. I just want to know if you name your dog 4 names.
So my point of the story is that people are crazy. Chocolate is one of those things that a dog should not eat, just like they shouldn't eat the seeds of an apple. Right? That has is it arsenic? It may be arsenic. It has something in there, some type of poison. But again, it's not that if a dog eats an apple and happens to have some seeds in it, don't go running to the vet and go crazy. It may make their stomach a little uncomfortable for a little while, and they'll pass, that kind of stuff. They have to eat like 20 apples in a single seating to actually get really sick. So it's just one of those things.
Seating.
Whatever. Don't be criticizing everything I'm saying.
No, that was good.
Thank you.
Instead of seeding, you said seeding, like seeding apple seeds.
Right. Yeah, I did that on purpose.
They caught that.
I did that on purpose. All right, Mark, what does Mark have to say? That's good to know. Good. Hey, Jay Samples, glad to see you here. I'm looking forward to your TV show on pest control. Jay Samples and I were talking about his the TV show that he can do with his dog Maggie, and they can host together, kind of like I'm hosting with you.
I'm never gonna do it with me.
About
request this if you like our show. Request it. We'll be back.
We'll be back. We'll be back. All right. So we had some good stuff today.
So.
Yeah, I felt really good about this.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous in the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, it was. You put me on the spot sometimes, and I'm like,
yeah. Is that why you kept putting your hand on my leg? Sorry. Totally inappropriate. I am so sorry. All right. Anybody have any questions from us? Go ahead and just write them now before we sign off. I'm going to be doing, hopefully, and if I can get set up here, if I can find some volunteers. Who do I have for volunteers? Did you bring one of your dogs?
No, I didn't.
All right. That's okay.
I don't want your listeners to judge me if my dogs are out here and it's 100 degrees. Out here for 3 hours.
They would. It's only like 80 degrees now. It's not quite as hot yet. It will be soon. But I'm going to do a couple things with Lola. I almost called my dog Lola. Hazel. In a few minutes, just to kind of continue the discussion with our Falco Fitness and where it's going to go. One of the things I have planned is to invite 5 to 10 people out for a filming to do something together and kind of for free demonstrate with you how to do some of these moves that we're going to do with the dogs. And so you can understand that the physical part for the dogs is actually the mental. Working a dog's brain physically tires them out faster and quicker and more effectively than necessarily running them with a frisbee or playing fetch with a tennis ball and that kind of stuff. That's all good. I don't want you to stop doing that. But you do obedience, 10 minutes obedience with a dog, and they're spent, and they'll take a nap for the rest of the day. And so while we're doing the obedience with them, we're going to be doing exercises, which is more physical taxing for us. Because we think all day. At least I do. I don't know about you. My mind is busy thinking and processing all day long. And I don't get tired because my brain is so... All right. Is anybody watching anymore? No, we have people watching. And so there's our story. So be back on here. I think I'll be back on here in about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, so look for that. I'm not going to stay long because, like Gina said, it's really hot out here, so I don't want to burn the dog out. And anything else since we're not getting any questions from anybody, any closing thoughts? How's training going with the dogs? How's working with Derek? How's things going?
Everything's going really well. Everything's going really, yeah.
I don't believe you.
Oh, wait, they are. My hands are up here. They're not underneath. I'm just kidding. No, we're having a great time.
Yeah, good.
We're having a great time. I mean, we get to chat with our, clients in between sessions and getting to know them, repeat clients, and we're learning Derekisms, or they're learning Derekisms, because there's a lot of them, and you won't be fully certified until you hit advanced class on Derekisms. So we're writing a book on those right now.
Oh, very good. Yeah. I think Doric. Take the mic.
Well, hello everyone. We just lost. He just snorted.
Okay. Oh my God! Now that I don't know how that happened.
Derek.
I'm so sorry. Whew.
There's Derek back there. Wave, Derek.
I won't even say what I was going to say because Dork is that was the pinnacle of our discussion with Derek. A great trainer, by the way, just really fun. He just has things that he says that are just really interesting.
Yes, he does. I'm going to watch the end of this.
I know. Okay. Wow. One thing I was going to ask you before I got solely interrupted by myself. Have you had any surprises yet? Like when dogs start, like, oh, this is going to be this is going to be challenging. And then as things go on, I think for what the Chihuahua is the one that when I see a Chihuahua, I go, that's a miracle.
You know what? That Chihuahua is just it is a miracle. But I think when we have lots of those cases where you start basic class 1 and you're just like, wow. You're like, but by the end, I mean, we're seeing the progress now with, we're coming to a close on one of our classes, and basically, like, you see this transition that is just amazing. You're like, oh my God, is this dog going to make it? Only if the handlers put the work and do the homework and follow the instructions, and they do, and it's sometimes throws us for a loop on their progress. So, but it's cool. It's nice.
I think when you see that, at least from my experience of seeing that, is what you see is not only the change in the dog, but you see a change in the way the people are walking with their dog. That they when they get here, they're like they're so scared. I have a friend of mine named Katie who brought her dog here. She must have called me like 5 or 6 times, texted me. She goes, "Are you sure I can bring my dog there? Because my dog's crazy, and I'm afraid somebody's going to get hurt and all kind of stuff." And she's like just so tense. And then as time goes on, then you just see the change and the relax.
They start relaxing. They start building more confidence. They have a better relationship with their dog, and all that comes into one, whatever you call it, something or other.
I was going to say symbiotic, but I couldn't think of how to say it properly. It's kismet. No, what is the word we're looking for?
I don't know. Maybe a Derekism. Let's ask for a
Derek. Let's make up a word. Dogtopia. No, that's the name of that's already taken. We'll work on it. We'll have it ready for you next show. Jeez. All right. No questions from any of you. Thanks a lot for your help. I appreciate the audience helping us out on that. Yes, we had a good time. I'm really glad that I drug you in here because it's great to hear some other perspectives, and I'm not the only one who sometimes questions the authenticity of some stories because I need the proof sometimes.
I'm a good reporter. Investigative reporter. Right.
Just to kind of tell you one of the reasons why, because I've worked with a lot of police canine handlers and stuff like that. And again, those of you don't go crazy on me. A lot of police dogs do some fantastic stuff. Do actually find my police dog found some stuff I never would have found without him. But there are times when a narcotics dog handler, for instance, will be in a house and they see like the packaging of narcotics like underneath the couch, and they go get their dog. They search the dog. Look at what my dog found. My dog is the greatest dog in the world. He just found the biggest. Or they walk by a semi-truck and there's the marijuana smell coming out of a semi-truck. Like, oh my God, you can smell it coming out from like 2 blocks away. And they go, let me get my dog. My dog searches and alerts. Surprise, my dog alerted on 3,000 kilos of narcotics coming out of a truck.
Miracle dog.
Oh, miracle.
I mean, that's the one you want to hire that handler and that dog everywhere. Right. Like contract out.
Right. And they do this big press release.
Tour. Yeah. World tour.
The dog's always sitting on top of the narcotics like, I found it. Dun, da, da, da.
Got the cape whistling.
I mean, even cocaine, which does not even have that big of a smell, when you put that much together, you could. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they didn't find it. I'm just saying. All right, enough. I'm giving no more secrets away about any of that stuff. But dogs are fantastic. They really are. We wouldn't be in this business if they weren't fantastic.
Yeah, me too.
And Lola, that story is fantastic, and we have the proof. Thank you, Kim. All right, guys, Sally, Mark, Jay, and the other people that I know when I switch it off, it says 5 live right now, but when I switch off, it shows like 30 or 40 people actually watching. So all of you that are watching, please make sure and subscribe. Make sure and share this replay of this video. That would be fantastic. And make sure and like our page. We've seen some really good growth. How that helps us, and just so you know that I'm just want to see that a lot of people like what it is we're doing, how that helps us, it may help us later on in sponsorships and things like that, will allow us to kind of go and visit other places and do things. Because now with sponsorship, we'll be able to get into more places and areas that we weren't able to get into just by me walking around with my cell phone saying, would you mind getting an interview? But having sponsorship gives us credibility. People that are interested, the more numbers, the higher numbers of things that we have, the more people want to be interviewed by us and actually contact us and say, hey, I want to tell you about our product. Which reminds me, one last thing. I know I've tried to sign off like 4 times, but this is the very last thing. In a couple weeks, we are going to be at Super Zoo, which is one of the world's largest trade shows for the pet industry. And myself and Sally and Em, we're leaving Gina home because she's got work to do. We don't want her with us. She parties too hard. And so we're going to be out there in Las Vegas at the Mandalay Bay. And we will, I think we have, Sally, if you're still on, you may want to correct me. I think we have somewhere in the neighborhood of like 20, 15 people already scheduled to be... Oh, the Morty series is amazing. Thank you. I really like the last one with the kids. You're taking me off my thing with Super Zoo. So we have a bunch of people we're interviewing, and those are going to happen all day long. So make sure and subscribe and like our page, because you're going to find out about new products that are available. You're going to find out some new information about old products because they come out with new formulas with like certain dog foods, with treats and all kinds of different stuff. There's grooming stuff that we're going to be talking about, equipment that we're going to be talking about, and really some new innovative dog technology that's going to be available. All this stuff happens at Super Zoo. And Sally and I and Em will be out there contacting people, doing Facebook Lives, and interviewing people and sharing the information with you. About 15 interviews as of now. So 15, and that's not even being there. As people begin to see us interviewing, the booth next door will say, hey, I want to be interviewed. And so that 15 will quickly turn into 30 and maybe more. I'll be exhausted.
I just want to say thanks for inviting me.
I said you have work. You're not invited. You can come. You want to come? It's Party Central.
Okay.
You can come. I thought you would be working here on at your job during the week. It's Tuesday. Oh my gosh! So in front of all of you, Gina, would you please come to Super Zoo? We're having a party in my timeshare.
I think I have to work.
See, I told you. Whatever. Every year we do Super Zoo. Every year, and you're more than welcome to come with us, and we would love to have you.
Okay.
Especially based on what we did today.
Yes.
I may keep you around for a little bit until you piss me off. All right. The Morty, the mortuary dog. And I know this is the 5th time I'm not signing off. I'm having such fun with that dog. That dog really, truly is pretty amazing. I want to thank Em again for her job of finding that dog, locating that dog when I couldn't find one. It was driving me crazy. Because, again, as I talked about yesterday, there's so many things that have to be in place for a dog to fit into what it is we want him to do. So we need this dog to be a therapy dog in a mortuary, right? He's got to be cute. Right, he should be cute. He should be sociable, right? Should be fluffy. He should have a nice texture to his coat, right? The dog must be healthy. The dog must be trainable. The dog must not be a pain in the ass. The dog must be sociable, right? Knows boundaries, all that stuff. And so we finally found one, and Morty did a great job. I did a video yesterday on the work that we're trying to do to teach this dog that jumping on people is not acceptable. And I don't think that people know this, but I do nothing in preparation for any of those videos. I don't go into the garage and beat the crap out of the dog and then go on video like they used to do in the police dog days.
Yeah.
No. I get home and I go, hey kids, go home here. We got to make a video. And I grab the dog and I go, let's see how this works out. And I want you to know that all this is just, as you're seeing the training, as you're seeing what it is we're doing, that is the result. Nothing is happening in advance. So, but each video obviously is leading into the next, right? So we started teaching the dog to sit. We started using the clicker and connecting the clicker with the treats and that kind of stuff. We began that, and that's the progress that you see.
There's other trainings other than clicker training, right?
No, I did not know that.
Oh, if you ever want to come to one of my...
So I just want you to know, I know that there's probably nobody left on this thing, but just continue to watch. Thank you, Sally, for bringing up Morty, the mortuary dog. I think people are just watching it because it's a funny name for a dog being in a mortuary. You know what? I came up with that. It just popped into my head.
That doesn't surprise me. I hate what you would call me if something popped into your head. My name would be...
Dark. Okay. Sally, Molly is very successful as a therapy dog due to... Oh, thank you. So many props out there. Thank you so much. Can you hit some like hearts and make the hearts fly across the screen? I really like that when that happens. And there's always the delay. Come on. Hit the hearts. Oh, there's the Sally. Oh, thank you. Look at that. Yeah, I said Sally's face popped up, and there's a heart. Nice. Look at see how... Wow. Wow. She's just lost 18 pounds, and I can tell you're trying to eat the hearts on the screen. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, wait, we will stop all the shenanigans. When you see the replay, that's going to be hysterical. All right. Thank you guys for watching again. Make sure like, share with everybody that you know owns a dog, likes dogs, and cares about dogs. We will continue to bring stories to you that will just bring dogs to you in a different way. And we'll continue to give our opinion. You don't have to agree with us, and if you don't, say so, and we'll have the discussion. I love having the discussion about these kinds of things, and I just like to keep it real. I like to keep it real. All of a sudden, I turned ghetto. I like to keep it real, dude. What's up? Gotta you throw the Falco sign. What's the Falco sign? Yeah, whatever, however that goes. All right. So now I'm signing off for the 7th time, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Wow, that was crazy.